For those of you who don't know Riley, I'll give you a quick introduction. Riley played on the baseball team, graduated, wow, would have been a year and a half ago now, coming up on 2 years.
Getting old. I'm almost basically 30 already.
So some of you may know Riley, but some of you younger folks may not know Riley. But he played baseball here at UIC and was a part of Team United at the end of his senior year. But just wanted to invite Riley on as one of our distinguished alumni. And we've talked to many of you about, he worked at facilities. He's a legend in the facilities world, of course. But I know we talked to many of you kind of about the importance of kind of the local church and being connected to a church body. And obviously, Team United is a great space for community and a great space when you're in college to grow with other believers. But after college, these type of things aren't available to everyone. And so the local church is really kind of the driving force that God has used throughout history to continue to advance the mission of his gospel. And so I just wanted Riley to share with you guys for a little bit his story, kind of leaving UIC and getting connected with the church, and just to encourage and even challenge you guys to be thinking through that, and hopefully one day plugging into a church. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to our distinguished guest of the night, Riley Hebert.
Hey guys, so just quick little backstory for you. So graduated UIC spring 2019. Had been at Team United for a couple months. Actually started coming to Team United because I believe it was Anthony who called, and he called the facilities phone to be let in, and I had no idea what Team United was. So I went and opened the door, talked to him a little bit, and actually sat in and talked to some of the guys. That's when I also met Mike and Steven, and started coming to Team United and just fell in love with it. Me and Alex D started going at the same time. We were roommates. We started kind of going at the same time, and Mike's got a great heart, because there was definitely times where, I was trying to ghost him, and, Mike is persistent. Mike was not going to let me fall. So ended up going to Team United the rest of my senior year, graduated and moved over to Lincoln Park. So north side of the city, kind of near Wrigleyville, and really didn't know what I wanted to do church-wise. I'd kind of gone to Soul City on and off throughout college, but couldn't in the springtime. And so I started going to Park Community Church. Mike invited me to come to the Lincoln Park location, and I went, and the first time I walked in, was greeted by Pastor Joe, who is a legend in Chicago. He's an Italian guy, just turned 51, a lot of energy, way more than me, kind of scary. And he said, "Hey, welcome to Park Church." And Mike introduced me, and he said, "You're on the softball team." So I guess it was kind of stories it from there. But I started going to small group with Mike, and I've never been a part of a church community kind of like it. And those guys in my small group are like my best friends now. I think of my small group leaders, Nate Haynes and James Parker, and really close with those guys. But the communities is just incredible. It's guys who are constantly seeking to grow in their faith and challenge each other and have accountability with one another and really do life together. It's not just hey, show up Wednesday and Sunday and see you twice a week. It's, I talk to these guys all the time. Last year for Thanksgiving, I got to go to a guy in our group's family. I'm going to his family's place again in Indiana this year. Mike, that's John Norman. And we had a sermon at church not too long ago in Romans 12 that talked about biblical community and how we have to have this utter dependence on one another. We need one another to grow spiritually and grow in spiritual maturity. And I've just seen the evidence of that throughout my time at Park and small group. And I mean, it really started with Team United. And I mean, it was just such an encouragement. And I know my senior year didn't go as as I wanted it to, because I had always put my identity in sports. And my Alex can attest, it was very painful, kind of the ups and downs, but that senior year was just so much better because I knew that, I was playing for a different purpose. And um, yeah, when I graduated, it's the real world's way different, and you have a lot more free time than you did when you were playing sports and studying in school. And it's just been so cool and such an encouragement to have that group of guys and the park church community, and to be able to be with them and spend time with them and serve, and any gifts I have, be able to pour that into the church. And man, it's incredible. It's an incredible place. And the local church is really, really special. And it's like anything else, whatever you put in, you're going to get out. And I've really, really enjoyed growing with those guys. And I mean, I hope that I can give them, a fraction of a percent of what I get out of small group and doing life with these guys. And it's not, our group's a kind of an intense group where, it's like, hey, we're going to live this out and we're going to challenge each other. And I think to grow in anything, especially in spiritual maturity, I think having that accountability and having that open mind of, hey, here's the way I interpreted a verse, or hey, what does this look like, applicating it, and how do we live this out, and having discussion around that is just incredible. So
Thank you, Riley. A couple quick questions for you, just a couple follow-ups. Um, why would you say it's so important to get involved like right away? Like what would you give it as advice for getting involved as quickly as possible into a local church?
yeah, I mean, it's what we're called to do. I'm looking at Romans 12 verse 4, for as in one body we have many members. And I think just getting plugged in is so important, because we need that community, especially when, you know, there's times where we go astray, or it's, oh, I went home for a week, but we come back, and that biblical community and plugging in right away is going to make you feel part of that church community. And really being plugged in is what's going to keep you coming back. Like, I know the first couple months I went to Park, it was like, man, if I don't go this Sunday, like I didn't go one Sunday, and it was probably 2 months in, and I didn't think anyone would notice. And I got a text from Joe, hey, where were you today? We missed you. And those guys just constantly checking in. And it makes you feel, like you're part of it. And when all your best friends are, your buddies from church, and um, that's kind of the reason I think getting plugged in early is so important.
Yeah, that's really good. And the other thing you mentioned, rather, that I just wanted to follow up on and kind of double tap was the idea of pouring your gifts into that community.
Mhm.
So could you just elaborate on that real quick and even maybe share like what that's looked like for you as you've joined the church?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Park, we have elders, deacons. Mike and Lauren, very familiar with it. But people have different gifts. I'm thinking of Park, like Colin Henry, very analytical, very smart finance guy, and he works on kind of the finances for the church. Whereas I think mine and Joe's spiritual gifts, one of them is definitely kind of energy and serving. So volunteer events, I love doing those. Anything where there's a mass gathering of people, which we can't really do anymore. But breakthrough and getting to go serve at the stores, serving at the women's shelter. That's kind of something I really enjoy. And it's something that the church needs. The church needs people who want to serve. They need people who are going to work on the finances. They need people who are going to be small group leaders. And whatever your kind of spiritual gift is, I'd really encourage you to bring that to not only your church, but also your team. Like, I know Alex D might be the most disciplined guy I know. And, if he can bring that to his team and, show, I don't know, show some kind of, spiritual discipline as well. Like, I know one of my good buddies from our small group, John Norman, he FaceTimes me at like 5:30 in the morning. He's like, hey, have you got your reading done yet? And sometimes it's, well, John, I just woke up, but I know that he's always in the word. So, whatever your kind of spiritual gifts are, and if you have any questions on those, definitely go to your leaders here. But I think Romans 12, great place to start. I'm looking at Romans 12, service, leading, volunteering, generosity, mercy, cheerfulness. And Mike's got a good quiz. I think, Mike, we had a while back about in our small group about spiritual gifts. You guys can look them up online too and take quizzes and, see what yours are. But I think it's super important to be able to pour those into the church. And, you all have a pretty cool platform with sports in college still. Yeah, Marley, love it. But yeah, it's just so important that we give back to the church. I mean, if that's truly the most important part of our life, like, man, it should be a no-brainer. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go serve. And how we spend our time, I think, is a direct reflection of kind of what's on our heart.
Yeah, that's really good, Riley. Thank you for taking the time to come out and share that with everybody. I know I've been really encouraged watching Riley as he left UIC and just like really plug into a local body of believers. And I know he's been a blessing to that church. And I know he's told me that it's been a huge blessing in his life as well. And so just wanted to give that a little bit of a plug. I know we share that with many of you individually in groups. We kind of harp on the church, but just wanted to show you kind of a get a real life example of someone who's done that after college. And my encouragement to you guys is don't wait until you're graduated and 3 months out of college. Like, you can be doing that now. Obviously that looks really different in today's day and age with COVID, but there's still ways to do it. There's still ways to plug in. And so if you have questions about that, reach out to Riley, reach out to myself, reach out to one of the other Grace, Lauren, Jenny, Jesse, John, and like, let us know. We'd be happy to help you plug in wherever that might be. And ultimately, we know that we don't just go to a church to be served, because we are all part of a body of believers. We have unique gifts, like Riley was saying, that we get to pour back into the church and bless the church with. And so it's a mutual relationship. We get to serve, and we're also served at the same time. So thank you very much, Riley. I think he's going to stick around and dig into the word with us tonight, but appreciate you taking your time to share a little bit about that, and miss having you around on these. But
yeah, absolutely. And thank you guys for having me on. One last little thing I know Mike touched on is do not wait. Go in on your faith right now. Go all in, because you guys have such a cool platform. I wish that I used my platform. Looking back on it, I wish that I used the platform I had to give God glory. And you may think, oh, it's uncomfortable. Maybe all my teammates aren't believers. Why is my lifestyle so different? I'm thinking of baseball, 35 guys on that team. That's 35 opportunities to witness for Alex every single day. So if you guys are, struggling with it, I'd reach out to Mike. But man, do not wait. You don't have time to wait. You can't afford to wait. Show others the love and mercy and grace and just joy you find in the Lord. And don't be afraid to do it. Look up Romans 1:16, for I'm unashamed of the gospel. Thank you.